What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're in a new space. My parents have been working on adding an addition to our house for like the last year, and it's finally built. So this is like my new room. So there's nothing in it, so I'm gonna film in it today. I'm gonna film an at-home ab workout for you guys. Given everything that's going on right now, this is perfect timing to do a lot of home workouts. Everything going on with the coronavirus and people not being able to go outside of their homes, unfortunately. So I thought we should do a little ab workout. I'm probably gonna do a little series at home workouts with Makayla, but this is the start. So I'm gonna actually explain a bunch of stuff to do with your abs first. Then we'll get into the workout, and I'm also going to explain how to do the workout properly as I do it. I just want to make sure you guys are training your abs properly because they are such an easy muscle group to not do the exercises properly and not use your core. A lot of times our back and our legs and our arms will start taking over instead of us fully using our core the entire time. So I'll give you some tips and tricks on how I try to make sure that my core is fully engaged in order to get the maximal amount of contraction and the maximal amount of effort from your muscles rather than using other muscles that you're not trying to work, if that makes sense. So abs is one of those things that I train all the time. I love training abs. I went through a little bit of a funk in the last week or so where I didn't really train abs, but for the last 3 years I've pretty much done them at least 5 times a week, which is insane. It's not necessary at all. But the thing I do have to talk about right now is the fact that so many people are saying that abs is just based on what you eat. You don't have to train them. If you eat really clean, you'll have abs. Every time I hear that, I'm just like, oh my god. Because I intuitively eat, I kind of eat whatever I want. I obviously eat mostly healthy foods, but I don't restrict myself. So if I want to have cheesecake, I'll have cheesecake. Yesterday I had a bunch of cookies, and then last week it was my birthday and I had a bunch of cake. I still have abs, surprise. So that's why I get kind of irritated with that kind of stuff, because it's both, or depending on your lifestyle and how you train, you can have abs and still eat treats and have things like that in moderation. So how I approach abs is I love training them. So at the end of every workout at the gym, I usually train my core. I usually stick to 1 or 2 workouts. I don't do a different one every time, just because I find that works best for me, and you get the most if you keep doing the same stuff over and over again. Consistency is key with training any muscle group. So with that being said, training your abs is so important, not only just if you want abs, but for core strength. So it helps you with all your other exercises. There's so many benefits to training your core. So this workout is perfect for at home, for my beginners, everyone starting out there, literally everyone. Honestly, beginner ab workouts are still killer because I still die doing them. Abs are just one of those muscle groups you can constantly train in different ways, and it's usually pretty weak. My core is still pretty weak, even though I've been training them every day for a long time, because a lot of that time I was training them wrong until probably honestly the last 6 months. I was training my abs completely wrong. I was not contracting them properly, nothing like that. So I'm gonna help you guys so you don't make the same mistake I did and waste all that time. So let's get into this video. So first, before we even get into the exercise, I'm gonna talk about how to contract your abs properly. So I'm just gonna back up a little bit and I'll show you guys. Okay, so before we start, I just wanna explain how to properly contract your abs during your ab workouts, and then we'll get into the actual workout of today. So before we start, basically, when you're working your abs, you want to make sure that there's not a big space underneath your back. So don't do this. You want to make sure you tuck your pelvis. So you pull your pelvis underneath like that, and then you lay it down. When I first started actually paying attention to making sure that I'm using my core properly, that was something that I did every time I did an ab exercise where I was laying on the ground, is I made sure to set my pelvis before I even started. So what I mean by that is before you even start doing your ab workout, go like this, tuck it under, and then place it back down. It just makes you more aware of where your hips are. So then your back is flat on the ground, and you want to make sure everything is nice and slow. So this is a basic crunch. You want to make sure you're contracting nice and slow. You don't want to be ripping out 50 reps, because that's when this starts happening. A bunch of movement happening all from other places besides your actual abs. Hopefully that makes a little bit more sense about how to contract it properly. And with abs, the most important thing is slowing everything down. You don't want to be doing 50 reps in a minute. because then your form starts to go and you're not actually getting the maximum amount of contraction out of your exercise. Whereas if you slowed it down and only did like 15 to 20 reps, but nice and slow and controlled, you're actually gonna get more out of your workout. So that being said, let's get into this workout. Okay, so the first exercise we're gonna do today is reverse crunches. So we're going to start by doing 10 of those, and then we'll move into the next exercise. For my beginners, I know my hands were above my head for that, but for beginners, hold on to something. So like do these maybe in your bedroom and hold on to your bedpost, like something like that. Or you can put your arms at your sides like this. And what that does is it braces your body. This is a little bit more difficult. If you do it like this, it braces your body against the ground. So when you pull up and go back down, it's a little bit easier to balance in your core. Okay, so the next exercise that we are going to do in this beginner ab workout is just your basic crunches. So we're going to be doing 15 to 20 crunches, slow and controlled, like I said earlier. So let's get into it. Exercise we are going to do in today's little ab workout is plank dips. These are awesome for the side of your abs, so your oblique, and they're super great for core strength. So the main thing with this is making sure that your back is not arched and you're moving from your core rather than your upper body or your knees. So let me show you what I mean. So with these, you go on your side like this, and then you're going to be dipping down and coming back up, and dipping down and coming back up. And basically what I mean about my back, I do with a regular plank. So if you do a regular plank, your back is arched, you're not using your core. Whereas if you tuck it in, you're using your core. This is just using my back. So if that makes sense, you're using the same thing when you're doing it from the side. So you can either have your hand up like this, or you can have it on your elbow. I prefer to have my hand on my elbow because I find that it's just a little bit easier. So if you go up, you're gonna dip down, come back up. And for these side plank dips, we are going to be doing 8 to 10 per side. So obviously when you're doing both sides, you need to make sure they're even. So if you're picking 8, do 8 on both sides. If you're picking 10, do 10 on both sides. Okay, so for the next exercise, we are going to be doing in and outs. These are one of my favorite ab exercises. I love them so much. And they're great because you don't need any equipment. So basically you're gonna be starting like this, and you're gonna crunch up and go back down, and you just keep doing that over and over. But we're gonna be doing that for 15 reps, and then we're gonna do one more exercise, and then we'll take a nice break, and then you can redo the circuit. I usually like to do circuits for abs about 3 rounds. So you'll do all the exercises back to back, then you'll take a nice rest, then you start again, you do that 3 times. That's usually a good number for me. I know some people like to do 2 and call it a day. It's whatever you want. So we're just gonna do one more exercise and then we're done. Okay, so the last exercise of today's workout is going to be side toe taps. So these are again for your obliques, so the side of your abs. I've always loved these. I've been doing them for years. They're really effective if you do them properly. So basically you're gonna be on your back and you're gonna be touching your toes. The main thing with this is making sure, again, your back is flat on the ground and your movement is coming from the side of your torso. It's not coming from your shoulder reaching down, if that makes sense. So let's get into this exercise. We're gonna be doing 20 reps, so that's 10 per side, and then that's it. And another thing I forgot to mention is make sure your shoulders are back when you're doing this exercise. You don't want them to be hunched forward, but that's the same with any exercise, to be honest. Just posture, you know what I mean? Okay, so that is it for today's little at-home ab workout with no equipment. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to give a comment down below and I'll get back to you. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.